Recording. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. We're back again.
Welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose.
Where two black-ass girls invade the whitest show on earth,
The Bachelor.
I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And we just watched, was this episode 4? Singapore.
Yep,
We're in Singapore. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really good episode.
Sure. We got some good insight from everybody who we love.
Yes, we got a really intense one-on-one date with Caelynn and Colton. Learned a whole lot there. Covered some very important topics, which we'll discuss.
Yeah.
And we got prime Demi.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Prime Demi at her finest hour.
Yep.
Had me dying this whole episode.
The whole time.
She's a mess, and I just love her trifling ways.
Me too. And we got a black girl one-on-one.
And we got a black girl one-on-one.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot on that one-on-one,
We
too.
sure did.
Oh, we'll dig into that. Messy boots, Miss Tayshia. Okay. What are your initial thoughts?
So my initial thoughts is that this was the episode of screeching. All of these ladies were screeching the entire episode. I had to turn my TV all the way down.
Oh, geez.
They were screaming through every microphone. It was a lot. Bachelor producers, I don't know if this is what you're telling the girls to be doing, like screaming from the top of their lungs. They announced they were going to Singapore, and I doubt that half of them knew where Singapore was.
Thank you.
Or saw Crazy
That was
Rich
written in my
Asians.
notes.
Like,
No, nowhere where they going,
nope.
but they're excited.
They're
Exactly.
so pumped.
Oh, God.
And Singapore is definitely on my honeymoon list now. After seeing how romantic it is.
Yeah, and just beautiful and opulent.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe.
It is.
I like
It's
it.
like a authentic Dubai. That's what it
Yes.
gave me. Right?
Yes. That's how I felt too.
Yeah.
It's like a Dubai that I would want to go to.
Right.
Because it feels a little bit more not problematic, I feel like.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. And then also just a quick observation. I feel like Colton has said, "This is my greatest fear" to different situations every single episode that we've had so far. And I found that to be a problem.
Nigga shaking in his boots.
Yeah. What are your initial thoughts, friend?
My initial thoughts. So we see a lot between Courtney and Demi this episode. Courtney, sweet little black girl from the South. Demi, who's just queen of triflingness. We just love her to bits.
So much.
It was like watching Demi, who clearly grew up watching this show and knows exactly the formula of getting time and just being a success. And Courtney, who either has never seen the show before or she just getting ran rampant by Demi by this whole process.
She seems really sheltered.
Yeah, she seems very,
Right?
I think that would be the word, yeah. Like, she didn't grow up watching TV. She's never seen The Bachelor before.
Yeah, maybe she didn't have cable or... You can get it when you don't have cable. I don't know. Maybe she just...
I don't know.
And it seems like she didn't grow up with a lot of people being mean to her.
Right.
So
She seemed like...
she doesn't know what to do in these situations.
Yeah, like very quintessential, like nice, sweet Southern belle, kind of... Not even a persona. Like, that's just her being.
No, it's her. Yeah.
It's her, which is great. Sweet girl. But, like, you ain't in the right house the right competition for this. Because you sitting back trying to wait for somebody to come talk to you. And now you going home because you ain't get off your ass. So, I don't... It was just... The battle between the two of them was just like watching two women who just, like, had two different relationships with the show.
Yeah.
One is winning and one is losing terribly. And... is trying to come out on top looking like the bigger person, but really you lost because you went home. So
Yep.
I don't know what to do with you. So that was one of my thoughts. And I have a lot to say about the Caelynn one-on-one dates.
Okay.
And her experience and what she shares. And I feel like people are, because I was seeing on Twitter, people are like, oh my God, I commend The Bachelor for, presenting this in this way. They did such a good job with the editing and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, let's give credit where credit is due. Give it to Caelynn, who got up on here and told her story. sure, The Bachelor, yes, you provided a platform, whatever the fuck, but we're not giving you awards for the editing or whatever. You didn't do anything. She told her story. The easiest thing you had to do was not edit it like crazy and make it look stupid. You gave her the space to tell her story and whatever you cleaned up with the editing on the sides, but you don't get credit beyond that. Like, no. Like, I got so annoying seeing all this, like, oh my God, thank you, The Bachelor, for doing this. And it's like, no, give credit to where it's due to Caelynn for being the brave one to tell her story on this platform.
Right.
And that's that.
Yeah.
And we'll dig into her one-on-one a little bit later. But those are my initial thoughts.
Nice.
Beyond that, as always, rate, review, subscribe. We got so many reviews this past week. Loved it.
We got so many.
So many. They just kind of like poured in.
Yeah.
I don't know if Apple Podcasts was like going through something
That's
and just like released.
I was like, is this part of the government shutdown? I was like, what is this?
Y'all released our reviews. Thanks, Trump. The fuck? Got mad reviews. It was awesome, though. We love reading the reviews. If you have not written your review yet, please tell us how we're doing. Tell us what you like, what you like. Just
what you like. Don't keep what you don't like to yourself. Okay.
Exactly. Please, on whatever platform you're listening to, rate us and review us. And as I said, always for your own convenience, subscribe to us.
Yep.
And then we also live tweet on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you need to go and do that. Go sign up for that. What am I saying? Because this is my podcast.
I'm just the guest every week.
You're just a guest on here. Our Twitter handle is the number 2 BLK girls, the number 1 Rose.
And you can email us at the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose@gmail.com. And you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose.
Yes. Shout out to everyone who tags us in their story every Wednesday. You screenshot and say, I'm listening to 2 Black Girls, best podcast. Love you ladies, blah, 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 blah. And post it out to your friends. We love it. We always repost it to our story. Please share us with the world. Share us with all of Bachelor Nation. Share us with your friends. You know, they want to laugh too. They want to kiki with us too. You know, you might as well share the love. Screenshot us, share us in your story. And as always, I still see the purchases coming in. Buy our merch, y'all. We got merch. We got hella cute mugs. We got hella cute canvas bags. We got shirts and all kind of goodies on our Teespring account. So it's teespring.com/2blackgirls1rose. Go and get your merch.
Yeah.
All right, Justine, I know you gonna take us somewhere.
Oh yeah. I'm taking you guys
to church. We got church announcements, y'all. Whip out your program. What we got? So
this week we have 2 preface announcements before the church announcements, right? So we got a little program. We have an actual program this week. So I just want to reiterate that we see all of your guys' emails and we are so thankful and we love them so dearly. We just may not respond to all of them, but we love you anyways.
Yes, thanks for writing in.
Thank you so much. Secondly, huge shout out to everybody who reached out in support of us amidst this whole event debacle, reaching out for help or different venues that you guys know of or different people that you might know. A lot of people tagged us on Instagram. Really awesome. We are working on regrouping and planning a bigger and better event. And once we need your help, we will reach back out to you.
Thanks for the love, guys.
Thanks, guys. And then we have a couple of shout-outs this week. Stacy, Catherine, Brianna, Christina, Jennifer, and Meredith. Thank you guys for the shout-out. A couple of you guys are brand new listeners, which is so cool.
Yeah.
So go back from the beginning. Listen to all of it.
Have a nice, healthy weekend binge of our 2 black-ass voices in your ears. Oh, Lord.
And that's it for church announcements. You got some news, girl?
Do I have some news? So, Caelynn, Miss North Carolina, and Hannah B, Miss Alabama, like outside of the show, this shit is still, everyone's trying to get to the bottom of what is this drama, what's the origins of this beef between the two of them. So there's been all kinds of stuff that come out the woodwork. At the end of the day, nobody still knows what the fuck happened.
Nobody knows.
There's a whole Bachelor Reddit thread dedicated specifically to this that people have sent to us in DMs and emails. I personally don't have the time to go through this stuff, so
okay, I did.
You did?
I took one for the team, and I read the Reddit thread, and there ain't nothing in there. I don't know what you all were sending us. There is nothing in there. Her makeup artist once said that she said this to this person.
Right.
No, I need text message.
Yes. Thank
you. If we've learned anything from the Real Housewives, it is to have evidence.
Yes.
I will not, with this hearsay, someone close to this person said, these people are not famous enough for that.
Sources say and all that nonsense.
Sources say, no, my cousin told me she did this. Here's the screenshots. What?
That's, no.
Like, I can't with this ambiguity.
Right.
No. Yeah. So ain't nothing there. And no updates.
We still don't know nothing. Still don't know nothing. Because the makeup artist came forward and was basically throwing Caelynn under the bus. But then in his same breath, he said, I never met Hannah, but the way Hannah describes Caelynn seems like to be true. What? Yeah. Who are you? And out the same side of your mouth, you said you never even met Hannah. So you need to have a seat because you clearly don't know what's happening here, boo. And so, as Justine said, until I get some screenshots and receipts, the verdict is still out.
Yep.
We still don't know what's happening. I'm going to be like Colton and decide to just stay out of this mess.
Oh, okay.
I've already declared myself Team Caelynn for the sake of the show. In terms of the contestants, I'm Team Caelynn. Between Caelynn and Hannah's beef, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but Hannah, all I know, she looked like a bumbling idiot in her one-on-one date. Caelynn had a very well put together one-on-one date, so I'm Team Caelynn as far as that goes. So.
Absolutely.
If anybody has receipts out there, screenshots of text messages, video clips, all the mess, we would love to see that. Send it our way. 2blackgirls1rose@gmail.com. Thank you. Other news. So Saturday Night Live parodied The Bachelor this Saturday in a segment called Virgin Hunk with James McAvoy playing a guy named Dalton from Turd River, Colorado, which I thought that was hilarious because they're always from these random ass like Midwestern southern towns that literally sound like Turd River or like Wiener, Arkansas, things like that. Yeah. But it was like a 4-minute little clip. It was like so funny. It was parodying like all the funny elements on The Bachelor, like when people steal time, the black girl who's like, what did she say? She was like, I'm black and I have short hair, so I'm just going to say goodbye to you now. Like, left. So sad, yet so true.
So true.
So if you haven't watched that, go and Google that and find that little clip. It'll give you a laugh. And then the last piece of news, our girl Bibiana.
Oh my goodness. Caused quite a stir.
Caused quite a stir out here. So it all started when Mr. Peter did an interview with somebody, Chicago, sorry, I had to look it up, the Chicago Tribune, where they were trying to get clarity on, like, was he dating Bibiana, was he not, yada, yada, yada. And he came out and said that he met Bibiana at, like, a charity event that they did together. And then he mentioned that he would be in Miami and asked her if she wanted to go to the Miami Heat game with him. So he did that interview, seemingly very innocent, whatnot. Bibiana, no, she out here heavy on Twitter. She like retweeted that interview, and then her response to that tweet was charity event in quotes. You mean staying at my place for 4 days during the busiest week in Miami and leaving without saying goodbye or thank you? Oh, and so she put that out, and Bachelor Nation went crazy. And then she put out a second tweet saying, to be clear, I'm not bitter, just irks me when you go out of your way to be nice to someone and they just take advantage. That sounds messy.
It does, because what happened during those 4 days? I'd love to know. Like,
yeah, what happened during the 4 days?
Oof, that's a lot.
And Peter, what the fuck? You stay in places, don't say bye to nobody.
Right?
That
For
sounds
free?
gross.
It sounds like you freeloading.
Right. It sounds like you needed a place to stay in Miami. You know that she probably has a cute little hooked up spot, and then you just like dipped out. Like, I don't get, how does that work? That's crazy. And so Deanie babies, his little behind, got involved. And Dean, by the way, is finally 27. Remember that nigga was like 25 for like
25
6
for 3
years? He's finally 27 years old. So he stepped in and replied to Bibiana and said, Bibby, you know I love you, but I talked to Pete right after he got home from Florida and know for a fact this is not how it happened. Dean, I'm gonna need you to sit down.
Yeah,
because
I
all you're
need you
saying
to get off Twitter,
is,
sir.
Yeah, all you're saying is I'm friends with Peter. He told me his side, and so I'm gonna take his side. Like, you don't know what happened because there's 2 sides to this. She's saying her side. He clearly had his own version of events, and you need to go sit somewhere. So.
And what are you? I hate it when people do this because you're not actually saying anything except for trying to shut the other person up.
That's it. And saying like I'm Team Peter because he's my friend. Like that's all. That's all you ended up saying. So. Anyways, Bibiana, I mean, she has her own new boo anyways.
Right, yeah.
So she's moved on, but clearly she was feeling a little bit salty and felt like being messy boots that morning on Twitter. So.
Yeah, which I understand. If somebody's crashing my place and stayed for 4 days and didn't say nothing, I'd blast them too.
I would blast them too. So I have reason to believe that Bibiana is telling the truth.
Yeah, right.
If anything, because why would you get up there and say that if it wasn't true? So. Y'all know how I feel about Peter, but that sounds mad disgusting to do that. Sleep on somebody's couch and then dip the fuck out without saying goodbye. So yeah, that was it. That was it for Bachelor Nation News this week. Should we dip into this recap?
Let's go.
Let's go. So my TV was acting a damn fool. So Justine, I'm gonna need you to. What happened? I picked up when Chris Harrison came in the house.
Okay. So they are all sitting around talking about how hard it is. Talking about Hannah B is going on about Caelynn again, and then Chris Harrison walks in and tells them they're going to Singapore.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, he walks in, announces they're going to a place they've never been before, and it's Singapore. So now these girls are crying and screaming and jumping and knowing damn well not half of them can't even find Singapore on the map.
Nope. Probably don't even know that
what continent Singapore's in.
Right.
Like, let's start there.
Yeah.
Is this South America we're going to? Right. Are we going to Asia? Are we going to Africa? Like, let's start there. Lord have mercy. So they're all excited. Onyeka in her little interview mentions that Colton has never left North America.
That is so disturbing to me.
Horrifying and unacceptable because you are a rich white man.
You're rich. What are you doing?
You are rich. How have you never left North America?
You dated an Olympian.
Who has traveled the world. Y'all ain't go on vacation?
Yeah. You never been to London?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
My dude. Oh, man. Come on, man.
I thought that was crazy.
I thought that was crazy.
If I was that rich, I would take my whole family on vacation. What?
Yes.
We're all going international.
Yeah, that was very disturbing and unacceptable. But anyways, they depart for Singapore. We see Colton walking the streets. You know, Singapore is great. It's got the lights, the buildings. The lights, comma, the buildings. The buildings. That's all we got, my man.
These are the kinds of people that I literally run over in New York City. I run them over. I can't. I've pushed people into the street before like this. Like, oh my God, wow. I can't. Yes, you're looking at a Pret a Manger. Get out of my fucking way. I'm walking to work.
Oh God. Yep, that's them. That's him. So the girls arrive at their suite. It is just, opulent, amazing, definitely like crazy rich Asians vibe.
Yeah,
crazy
for sure.
Rich Asians vibe. And I'm just feeling low-key, high-key jealous because I feel like none of these girls even know where they are to even appreciate it. I'm so pissed.
They're like on such a boring season. Like, remember when on Ari's season they went to like Park City, Utah? Like they went to like the regular places. They're so lucky places. They get to go international so early.
I know. There's 15 girls in the house, I think. And they flew all of them to Singapore, which is not a cheap place.
That's an investment.
At all. That's really an investment. Anyways, date card arrives, and it's a one-on-one date for Tayshia. And the date card says, let's fall in love. So Tayshia goes off on her one-on-one, and her and Colton are at the beach, walking along the beach, and Tayshia thinks that her date has something to do with like waterfalls.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Which makes sense. It would have been nice. Then suddenly they're walking on the beach and they see this big ass tower, and she learns that she's actually going bungee jumping.
I would have left at the date card. I would have said, I'm not going. One of you bitches take it. I'm not going with this.
Because fall was going to be something dangerous and crazy. Yep. Oh my God. So I've been bungee jumping.
Have you outside?
Yeah, I haven't told you this.
Oh my God.
I've been skydiving and bungee jumping, actually.
What? See, you can't tell me these things. I don't like you getting on airplanes.
Oh God. I did bungee jumping when I was in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
And I've always said skydiving anybody can do. Anybody can do skydiving.
Yeah,
you have somebody strapped to you, you jump out the plane.
That's
it's
true.
like it's manageable. Bungee jumping though, that shit was fucking scary. I can't even lie.
Because it's just your feet.
It's just your feet, and what's even more, like, you yourself have to walk to the edge.
Oh my God.
And you yourself has to jump. With skydiving, you have somebody strapped onto you, and he jumps out the plane, and you're just there, like, dangling like a baby. A baby in, like, a little, the little...
Yes, the front strap
whatever those things, the front strap things, that's you. But bungee jumping is a lot of self-will. You have to get to the edge and jump. So it was amazing. I would do it again, actually, because it was the feeling afterwards is like you get a rush of adrenaline like I've never felt that before. It was kind of like you're high in a cool way. Which I would like chase that high, which sounds kind of freaky. It's like a drug addict, but I do remember that feeling at the end. It was an amazing adrenaline feeling. But that shit is terrifying. I can't even lie. So Tayshia and Colton are both freaking out, obviously.
Yeah.
Colton jumps first, and his face was hilarious when he jumped.
Oh my God, his vocal reaction too when they called him up and he was like, "Who, me?
Who, me?" Yeah.
God. Like, you were just gonna push Tayshia off the floor first?
Right, get your big ass up and jump. Hell yeah, you going first. Oh, me. He was all scared.
His voice was trembling.
That shit was hilarious. So he goes first, and then Tayshia, when she goes, she honestly didn't even look scared to me.
No, me either. I guess because he went first and didn't die, but...
Yeah, but like as she was walking to the edge, she was like, "Where's Colton?" It was like looking down below, like it was nothing.
Oh my God.
Most people, when they walk to the edge, they don't even want to look down. They just look straight. She was looking down like, "Colton, I'm scared." I was like, "Bitch, you definitely like you've done this before."
Yeah.
You're like a pro. So anyway, she jumps, and afterwards they head to the beach, and she had a cute little one piece.
Mad cute.
One piece. Red one piece. It was cute. And had titties all out and
Boobs
everything.
out. I loved it.
Yeah. And then they went swimming, and we're just like kissing in the ocean, all that jazz.
Cute.
So time for dinner. And okay, Tayshia with the little slinky Fashion Nova black dress.
It was definitely Fashion Nova, or like Pretty Little Things, or like one of them brands.
Was she in one of those things on? Cheap little like, oh God, those
you get your good thought wear. You get your
straight from a Chinese factory. A good what? Thought wear?
A good thought wear. You wear it once, maybe twice.
And it disintegrates after the first wash.
Love it. Love it.
So she had her cute little slinky dress, and she said she was nervous about the date because there was something serious that she wanted to talk to him about. So they go in, they talk about they both pretty excited, and the date was super epic. He tells her he loves her confidence, and I just want to know where, how are you the way that you are? They always ask that same fucking question.
He especially has asked it phrased the exact same way to all of the girls.
Yes.
And I
want to know how you are the way you are.
And he even said that to like Hannah. And I'm like, how she's boring and whack? Like, why would you even want to know?
I don't know about this.
I was annoyed, but I was so impressed with Tayshia's bronze highlight. It was beaming. I could see it from the moon. It was amazing.
That was a good makeup look. Nice. Shout out to Tayshia. So Tayshia, she, goes into her story. She says, I'm, generally a very happy person, but I've definitely had some hard times. And then reveals that this past year and a half had been very hard for her because she was married and got a divorce. What? Talk about plot twist.
I know. Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Me either.
At all. And we didn't get the full timeline, but it sounded like they got married and divorced within the year.
That's what I really wanted to know because she was with him for 6 years. Mad long. Then got married. Said he didn't want to be married anymore. Which sounds like he cheated. Then got divorced. And now she's on the show?
Yeah, it was a lot of layers that we weren't getting much clarity. Yeah. She also kind of threw in, like, being a Christian woman. Yeah, which I liked it. I liked how she threw it in. Mm-hmm. But still, it was, like, adding layers to the mess that I'm still not clear on. Right. So, I don't know. But, yeah, she said that they, being a Christian woman, you think you get married once, and that'd be it. But then with them, things weren't going so well, and you can't make someone want to be married. So insinuating that the homeboy was trying to get out, basically. Yeah. So that was messy. I feel like I need details because I'm still very unclear.
Tayshia, I want Tayshia to stay on so that we get those details.
Yeah, we can flesh it out a little bit there. And Colton just kind of like sat back and listened, and he shared that his parents are divorced, and so like comforted her or whatever. I guess. Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the suite, date card arrives, and every goddamn body is on this date card. 13 names are on the date card, except for Caelynn, Miss North Carolina. North Carolina, Hannah B's rival, who is going on the one-on-one. The one-on-one. The one-on-one, yes. Hannah is obviously, in her confessional, drinking wine, talking shit, and beside herself. Oh, Lord. So, back on Tayshia's date, she obviously gets the date rose. And they, go and ride on this giant Ferris wheel and just hang out. She's talking about how her feelings are real. She feels like they have a good foundation. And then drops I can see myself falling in love with Colton.
You know what I realized as well during this episode is that nobody is remembering that Colton is not taking you on this date. The Bachelor franchise is taking you on this date. So when they say things like, he's so romantic. Oh my God, I can't believe he bought this for me. Oh my God, I'm like, do you know this is part of like the larger ABC budget that was approved by like 17 executives? Exactly. This is not his money.
This is not coming out of his pocket at all.
And not only is it not his money, but it's not even his idea. Because this nigga has never left North America. I know it wasn't his idea to go on this Ferris wheel.
That's for damn sure was not. That's a good point. He's never left the country. He don't know jack shit about Singapore. Do not give this man credit for nothing.
No, they give him a lot of like, oh my God, it's so romantic. I can't believe how romantic he is. And I'm like, who are you talking about?
Right. The setting is romantic, and it's a setting that was orchestrated by the production team of ABC Networks, like American Broadcast Company. Let's give the credit where credit is due, okay? Oh, God, wild. That's a good point.
Right? Oh.
So next up, we have the group dates. 13 women on the dates. One of the biggest group dates, definitely of this season and like in history. I feel like it was so many people. Colton, going into the date himself, is very nervous about managing all these girls and feeling awkward when girls try to be like physical with him in front of everyone, and just not really looking forward to that. So for their date, they're basically just walking around, some marketplace. And the whole scene just looked crazy. It was like this one big ass guy surrounded by a bajillion girls as they walked through the market, and it looked so like problematic. I don't know.
It looked a little bit, especially because they look so young. It definitely looked like a school teacher, like on a school trip.
Yeah,
and like very just odd. It didn't feel like a date.
No, like we've seen obviously group dates before where it's obvious like one guy and a million girls, but like this one in particular seemed strange because they were like out in public at a very like bustling market, and it was just one guy and all these girls around him like scattering to get attention. And
and I feel like he took all the strong personalities on one big group date.
Yes, a lot of big personalities. Speaking of big personalities, our girl Demi is not playing games.
Ever. She never does.
Demi was riding his back at one point. Yep. She was holding his hand at another point. She was dragging him to go get some, like, they got their little cartoon images drawn together. Not playing games, doing all that she can to just make sure that she is at the front and always on his mind and not, getting lost in the shuffle as you should be doing. Meanwhile, Courtney, sweet little black girl from the South, is talking about, how hard it is. Maybe I'll get more time with him next week. Girl, what? Yeah. As soon as she said that, I knew she was going home this week. Yeah. Yep, there ain't going to be a next week. Because you talk about how, you're going to sit low this week so next week you can get time with him. That's not, no. Every single second you get with this man, you need to be out here trying your best to get his attention.
And what makes you so sure there's going to be a next week?
Right, that too. Like,
I was confused by that.
I was very confused by that statement as well. But anyways, so they arrive at this leech spa thing.
Yeah, you guys know I'm into detoxing. I drink apple cider vinegar every day. But this was a lot for me even.
Yeah. So they basically put leeches on your body to allegedly remove toxins.
What does that mean?
And I don't know. And it's not even like they did it. It's not even like, clearly we didn't see the full process of like this leech spa. They just kind of just put one on every person for the sake of the show. But I'm fascinated by how does this work? What's the full process? You lay down and they lay a leech in specific areas that are like aching you.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like acupuncture, but it's leeches.
But it's leeches. I don't know. It looked very gross.
It did look gross, but I was also very curious as to what the real actual process was.
The actual process is, I'm like, okay, maybe we get like a little debrief and it's something I might try. Yeah. But just laying one leech on my arm, that looked terrible.
Why would I do that? To prove that Colton, I'm adventurous? No. What?
Look at me. I am bold.
Oh my God, I'm so adventurous, Colton. Choose me to be your wife. What?
No.
This is bug off me. What? Get out of here.
Oh, God. So after the leech spa, they go back walking in the streets. And so Hannah B, she's feeling some type of way because Colton is like straight up ignoring her, avoiding all eye contact, and anything she's trying to say to him, he's just like, you can tell he's kind of going out his way to just like not be fucking with her at all on this date. Which, last episode, things didn't really end very well with the whole drama with Caelynn and Hannah. And you can tell he's just kind of like over the whole thing. And so they eventually sit for lunch, and it's all these like exotic foods and things. I think at one point they're eating cow foot, and I was like, we eat that in Jamaica, so I was like, that's not but a thing. Weird. So after lunch, time for the nighttime portion of the group date. Hannah B, Miss Alabama, she pulls him first. Loved her like fuchsia halter jumpsuit. It was cute. Great color. It was like fuchsia, like the fuchsia color on your Microsoft Word. It was like that exact shade in paint. Yes. I have to say one thing though. Her perma smile is starting to piss me off.
Also, I don't know how HD everyone's television was, but my TV is like one of those where you feel like you're in the room with the people. And I saw every pore in that girl's face, and I feel like Elise is really letting these girls down. Like this girl, her acne was so bad. It looked so clogged up. I was like, is this from the plane? is this from? But it was distracting.
No. Yeah, Elise, girl, she just hang these bitches out to dry because she's a full-on makeup artist, looking flawless at every turn. And could be hooking up poor Hannah and covering up them pores and hiding the acne, but she just got her out here looking crazy on the HD screens. Damn.
But they did a lot of close-ups of her, and I was like, oh, Hannah, no.
So, she gets her one-on-one time with Colton, and the girls, meanwhile, are just annoyed because they feel like the Hannah-Caelynn drama is just still occupying time, and every 5 seconds, Caelynn's pulling him, Hannah's pulling him, like... Now they're in Singapore and they're still dealing with this straight up bullshit. So anyways, Hannah's in with Colton. She says, I feel like the woman you're supposed to be with has to have a noble character, and you not trusting my character really bothers me. It makes me want to step back. Which is a very valid point and probably one of the most articulate things this girl has ever said. Ever. And Colton basically said that he's just come to the conclusion that he's kind of over the whole thing. He's okay with the fact that Hannah and Caelynn don't get along and don't see eye to eye, and he just kind of want to, water under a bridge. Let's just move on. And he feels like he, quote unquote, today he got his Hannah back. Whatever that means. I was
like, what do you mean?
I am so confused by Colton's interest in Hannah because they had a horrible one-on-one date. It got salvaged at the end when she, I don't even remember, gave some stupid story about how her boyfriend,
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember what it was.
And she felt like she wasn't, worthy anymore or something.
Right. That was her version of opening up, and then he gave her a pity rose. Yeah. And so now he's talking about how now you're back, and, I really do like you. And I'm like, your date sucked. Your one-on-one date was very bad. Really bad. What are you talking about?
I genuinely feel like this girl's a producer pick. I feel like they're going to have her on until them 2-on-1s. And then they're going to let her go. Because there is no way. There's no personality showing through except for bashing Caelynn. Caelynn, we get a little bit of her personality.
Yeah.
But this girl...
fully formed, contestant on the show, I feel like. Yeah. Hannah, she's a foil for Caelynn.
Right.
That's her mere existence is that. Ugh.
I'm starting to feel bad for her because I feel like she's really falling for this guy and thinks it's real, and he's just the producers are literally in his earpiece, just say you like her, just keep it going,
keep it going.
Say you're over it, okay. And next.
Oh God, yeah, she is really falling for him.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, messy. So next with the one-on-one time is Cassie. Who she always just looks too casual for me.
Always.
Looked like she just walked off the beach.
She got that. What's her name? Yeah. Kylie is the sister. Kendall. She looks like Kendall all the time.
Kendall Jenner?
No, Kendall from Ari season.
Oh, Kendall, yes.
Kendall was always looking way too casual.
Very casual. They just stepped out of a Hollister catalog or off of the Santa Monica Pier.
Yes. Yeah.
Just no effort. But I get you wanting to look effortless, but she needs to put a little effort in.
I was gonna say no effort, not effortless.
Yeah. There's a distinction here, ladies.
Yeah, there's a difference. She's not Free People Anthropology effortless. She's
no.
I got this for $8 effortless.
And I just showed up today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, they chit chat and make out, and he says that he feels super comfortable around her, feels like he's known her, longer than he has. Who is Cassie?
I feel like she's gonna be a silent.
I feel like she is too.
She might win. She's
God.
I
really feel she's, anytime he's with, we don't know anything about her. We haven't gotten a one-on-one date with her yet or anything. But anytime he's with her, his little confessional afterwards is always I feel like myself around. It's always these big, profound statements. And I'm I feel like I should know her, but I'm not getting any video footage of her. What's going on? And the edit, they do this every season. There's always one girl who's makes it to the end or something, and we know nothing about her until the hometowns.
Or a guy. We didn't know anything about Adam or Matt from Rachel's season until Bachelor in Paradise.
Exactly. Literally, we learned nothing on Rachel's season. We got to know them after on the spinoff. Like, what? Oh, goodness. So, meanwhile, little Miss Courtney, Southern Belle, Georgia Peach, is going through it. She's way too sweet for this show. So she's saying, she said, quote, I've been respectful and I've been respectful with the ladies and keep seeing him getting time with all the other girls. And she's saying she just doesn't feel confident at all. And Demi says to her, like, you need to get out of your own head, which is so true. And then Demi, again, says it best. And she said it in her confessional. She said, Courtney's approach seems pretty lazy, in my opinion.
I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Thank you, Demi. She said, her approach seems pretty lazy, in my opinion, because she hasn't done anything to get time with him. Preach, Demi. And then Demi, you know, she does what she does and goes and creates time with Colton, which, hello, Courtney, watch, because she's doing this correctly. And she has her little one-on-one time with Colton and says to him how, you know, I know you've seen like this wild and crazy side of me, but there's another side that I want to talk to you about. And then she reveals that her mama was released from federal prison this week.
And she is in Singapore.
And my girl's in Singapore on a reality television show trying to get Instagram followers. Like, this is crazy.
This is insane.
What got me about her whole conversation with Colton was Demi was trying to play up like she was about to cry, like fake cry.
Oh my God. These crocodile tears.
She was blotting away tears that were not rolling out of them tear ducts.
They were not there.
And she was doing the whole, like, this is really hard for me, and, like, putting on that voice.
Yeah.
Did not see a tear.
Not one. She was, like, avoiding eye contact and everything. I was like, girl, first of all, your eyes are way too big for this. Everybody knows that you're not crying.
No, exactly. You can't play with them big old eyes because we are watching and not a single tear has dropped out of them tear ducts, my friend.
Oh, my God. I was like, one of the PAs don't have some Visine for her? Help her at least fake it.
At least fake
it. Oh my God. I was dying. I was like, I shouldn't be laughing. This is very sensitive.
Right.
But girl, she was crying like, you know how little kids be tired? But
yes.
They don't want to go
They
to
make
bed.
a whole bunch of noise. Yeah. They make noise.
They just
and then literally
like,
nothing.
No moisture.
No moisture. That was literally Demi. So back with the group, Courtney still talking foolishness.
Still talking. Oh my God.
Talking to the ladies. You know, he keeps creating time and special moments for all of you. He hasn't gone out of his way for me. And then she had the nerve to say in her confessional, I genuinely thought I would get a one-on-one this week. Now, this is where Courtney got my Becky of the week.
Oh my God, she got it from me 5 minutes later. You go ahead.
Okay. Oh no. And I hate playing out our sisters on this show. But Courtney, you thought you was getting a one-on-one? This is delusional. You have not talked to this man in about 3 days. Because you sit back waiting when you need to be listening to Demi and watching Demi's moves and go and create time. I don't know. You clearly did not do your homework before coming on this show because this doesn't work like this where you sit back and he comes and grabs you. You need to be aggressive. And then to have this kind of lazy approach, as Demi says, but at the same time in your head you thought that the one-on-one date was going to you. Like,
and especially with this man in particular. He's one you gotta go get him.
Yes, you have to go get him. Yeah. So that shit was whack. I hate to give Becky of the week to Black Girls, but that was a moment. So Demi advises her and says, you can't make excuses. You need to make your own way. Like, she was genuinely trying to encourage her. Like, get up and go and try and create time. Courtney's response is, literally, she says, quote, I'll just wait here patiently. Well, you gonna keep on waiting, girl.
Yep, you gonna wait all the way on your flight home.
So while Courtney is sitting there waiting, Demi gets up and goes for more time.
Once again.
Demi got right up and was like, all right, well, while you wait there, mind if I don't? And shuffles her little ass right back up the stairs. And goes and gets some more time with Colton. And so as Demi is up there, Courtney learns from the other girls where Demi had gone, and then had the nerve to be like, what? You know, that's the reason why I didn't get any time with him was because of Demi? What are you talking about? Now you're placing blame elsewhere instead of looking inward and realizing that you are at fault here, my friend.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh. So the girls finally convince her. Like, she needs a lot of, like, prep. Like, she needs a lot of coaxing, and she's clearly very, like, shy or, like, reserved, and which is fine, but, like, then you're not in the right show. Like, I'm sorry. Then you're just not in the right show if you need this much coaxing from girls who are your competition. Like, that don't make no sense. No. So they finally convince her to get up off her ass, and she finally goes to try and find Colton and interrupt Demi's time with him. And so when she walks into the room, Demi's alone, and because Colton had already left.
And that is where she got my Becky of the Week. That specific frame by frame when she knocked on that door and said, "Can I interrupt you guys?" And it was just Demi. Do you know how I fell out laughing? I was like, girl.
Too late.
It's
too little.
Late.
Too
and why did you
late.
intro yourself like that? Mad timid, mad quiet. You did not sound like you had anything to say.
Nope.
Demi comes in. She got something to say. She got an announcement.
She got an activity prepared.
She sure does. Everybody. Katie did. I remember Katie had some little thing for him.
Little chopsticks or something.
Everybody has some little, like, moment. Everybody. And here you come. Oh, can I interrupt you guys?
Oh, God.
Girl, you don't get out of here and put some bass in your voice.
Yes. Put a little bass, a little attitude. Come on. Ugh. So she enters the room. Demi's sitting there chilling by her damn self. And instead of leaving to go find Colton, which was the whole objective of all of this, she decides to waste more time and sit there and confront Demi. I can't. I just cannot. I can't. So Courtney starts talking to Demi in this, like, very condescending tone. And it's like saying all kind of stupidness. Sometimes you don't think, you know, how old are you again? Keep in mind, these girls are both 23. So I don't know where she was going with that. And, you know, someone with a little bit more maturity would understand and not act the way that you're acting. And the whole thing was just whack.
How do you know?
I don't even know. The whole thing was whack.
Yeah.
And no one is on your side, Courtney, because you still haven't talked to Colton. Demi has won.
Yeah.
She has won. Whatever you're trying to do here, this little condescending, like, Demi doesn't, she won. There's nothing here for you. And so Demi's just looking at her and basically said to her, "I'm over you. Like, I'm done with you," which was my exact sentiments with Courtney. And then we go back to the group, and Colton, it's time for him to award the date rose. And it goes none other than to Demi.
Of course. Of course. And Demi said a line in Courtney and Demi's conversation that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my days. When she said, "Thank you for letting me know how you feel."
Ooh, burn.
I thought that was a really good one.
Burn, burn, burn.
After she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did this. Oh my God, after you said that I wouldn't have time to do that." She was like, "You know what? I thank you for expressing yourself to me. You may leave now."
Yes. That is a good line.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's not an apology. It's not.
Nope.
I don't know what that is.
She
it's
didn't
just
say anything she didn't mean.
Yeah, that's so true. She was not about to muster anything that she did not truly feel. So she's gonna just thank you for taking the time for you to express yourself and move about her life.
Yeah.
Demi's the best.
She's the best ever.
She's the best. I really love her. She's so triflin and so subtly just like burning these ladies, taking bitches out. She took out Courtney. She took out Tracy. She's getting roses left, right, and center. Like, it's just hilarious to me.
I love her.
Oh my God. So Demi gets the group date rose. MVP of the day. Colton, like right afterwards, he dips out. And then Courtney storms off crying because she wasted her own time talking to Demi and didn't get no time with Colton. And then your arch nemesis got the date rose in the end. So you just look like a dum-dum.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next day we have Caelynn's date, Miss North Carolina. Time for her one-on-one date. And a butler arrives to the suite.
Oh my God, he was so cute.
He was
his little messenger,
so adorable.
His little outfit.
His little butler outfit. And he comes with a date card, and it says, "I've been waiting for this special day for so long. Meet me downstairs, Colton." So Caelynn runs downstairs, and Colton is there with this big old, like, Rolls Royce, maybe?
Like a Bentley or something.
A Bentley, some old classic car. And he says that he's going to spoil her for the day. And so we already know it's basically going to be another, like, Becca from Ari's season, where she got her date with Ari, where they basically go shopping. And this is literally the same exact date they took Caelynn shopping.
Only Becca's was a little better because Becca got Rachel Zoe in the flesh.
She got a little styling, too. Yeah. So, they go shopping. She gets to try on all these amazing clothes, all these, like, couture gowns. She looked amazing in everything.
They looked a little pageanty. I'm not gonna lie.
Some of the gowns were very pageanty.
Some of them,
which could be... I thought the gowns were bomb. It could be, like, just her... the way she carries herself is very, like, pageant-like. And so every dress looks like a pageant dress, when really the dresses were just, like, beautiful couture, like, gowns or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, this
and maybe
stage
it's
just
Singapore couture is pageantry,
or that too. It was a lot of feathers. It was a lot of like sheer appliques
and shimmer.
A lot of shimmer.
Yes.
Beautiful in my opinion. So
yeah, no, very pretty. But I looked at it, I was like, yep, that looks right on you, girl.
Yep.
Miss North Carolina.
Miss North Carolina. So amazing dates. As I said on Becca's date, I would take all these here clothes. Thank you very much, Bachelor producers. Thank you very much. Go home and put all them joints up on Poshmark and eBay. So every last one of them, get them coins. Cause I don't need. Where am I going with a big ass couture gown? Where am I wearing any of those clothes?
That's the thing. Caelynn might have somewhere to wear those since she's pageantry.
Might actually. That's true. She might actually. I got a couple weddings to go to. I might save one or two, but I'm selling every last one of those. Yep. All the shoes she got, I'm making bank on eBay.
I'll go back to Singapore. What?
Right. Make bank and then fly my ass back to Singapore for a vacation. Thank you. So anyways, back at the suite, the girls are all sitting around talking about what they think Caelynn's doing and what's that date, what do you think it's up to, what she's up to. Suddenly, Caelynn busts through the door, and homegirl had about 50 shopping bags draped on her arms, and she's just glowing.
Of course.
Of course, because she just literally got the best group date that's ever going to happen on this season.
Yeah.
So she sits in the middle of them and gives this whole show and tell, which...
That was weird.
That is kind of tacky. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
If that was me, I would walk in, they would see me with all the bags, which is already like a lot, and I would probably just immediately just beeline for my room and just like put my shit away. If anybody wants to see the stuff, that's your own prerogative. You can come to my room and I'll show you.
Right.
But I'm not sitting and doing this whole show and tell and rub it in everybody's face. I didn't like that.
Especially because of the things she was saying. Like I said before, she was like, "Oh, Colton picked these out. Oh,
yes.
He bought this and this." I was like, he didn't buy nothing, girl. First of all, probably half of that was given to the show for free.
Right. So he didn't pick out nothing. These were shoes that were already earmarked for you, girl.
Right. Yeah. And the designer said, "Okay, I'll be on The Bachelor." Great. And like, it isn't as big of it isn't what she's making it out to be. It is a big deal. It's great that she got all these grants or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like Colton paid for all of this with his retired NFL football playing money.
Right. He gets a lot of credit for things that he ain't doing.
That he's not doing, yeah.
Not doing at all. But it's part of the whole fantasy of it all, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The funniest part to me of this whole thing was they had Cassie in the confessional. And she said, first of all, she looked a hot ass mess. She said,
drunk.
I'm so happy for Caelynn. And midway through saying this, she literally starts crying. Y'all better say shit. Stop faking like y'all are all best friends and you happy for her. It's okay to be like, I'm jealous as shit that she got all this clothes. I'm so pissed she got the one-on-one date. You were not happy for her. Stop this.
Why would you be happy for her? I don't even see the logic behind
There's
that.
no logic. Why would you be happy for your competition to get a one-on-one date and come back with $50,000 worth of gear? Like, that's why you started crying the minute you said it, because you knew it was a damn lie. Oh, my God. So, time for the nighttime portion of Caelynn's date. So, she I guess she puts her stuff away, changes, goes back out to meet Colton. And she walks up in this, like, emerald green, very pageant dress. I hated this dress, but okay.
He loved it.
He loved it, yep. And so she says, there's something serious that she needs to have, a serious conversation that she needs to have with Colton that she's very nervous about. So at the dinner, they're gushing about their date, how he makes her feel, and she feels very comfortable around him, makes her happy, blah, blah, blah. So then Caelynn goes into her story and says, this is a conversation I need to have when going into relationships because it's part of my story and it's something that's gotten in the way of, like, intimacy in the past. And then she proceeds to tell a very harrowing story, so trigger warning for ladies out there who might have dealt with sexual assault and have not seen the episode, just putting that out there. And so basically she tells a story how 4 years ago when she was a sophomore in college, she went to a house party and 3 out of 4 of her friends, including her, ended up drinking wine that was drugged. And she woke up naked in her bed with no memory of what happened to her and just a very small vision of a guy in the bed, which is just the worst nightmare. Is just that literally is just terrifying and super sad, and this shit happens all the fucking time. All the time. So 3 of the 4 of her friends who had drank the wine were all sexually assaulted. Sounds like one of the friends was potentially raped by 2 guys in another room in the house. Then she found out later that there was another moment where she was passed out on the couch, I think before she was dragged into the bedroom, and a guy had, like, lifted up her dress and it was taking photos and Snapchats. It just sounded like a full-on nightmare. She said she went to the hospital immediately to go get a rape kit, and the hospital turned her away.
That's insane.
Which, what in the world? I don't even know in what world. How does that even happen? A girl walks in, and to say that she's been raped and needs a rape kit, and somebody had the nerve and audacity to be like, oh, we don't do that here, sorry, I'm gonna need you to go down the street. What?
How? I didn't know that was legal.
It's not legal.
It's not, right?
It's not.
Yeah.
That can't possibly be. I mean, actually, you know what? We live in America. I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't. Actually,
oh my God.
I would not put it past this here country. But
yeah.
So that was horrifying. She said she went.
Also, wait, why wasn't there a rape kit at her health center at the school?
I don't know.
Oh God, we gotta do better.
So many questions.
God.
I don't know. Just terrible. So she said she went to the next hospital, did the rape kit there. It proved to be inconclusive because so much time had passed since the incident and since being turned away from the first hospital. In the end, all of the guys got away with it. No one got justice. One guy got expelled from school, and that's pretty much...
Which is not
justice.
No.
So that's pretty much all that happened. This was huge. I just have to say, I commend Caelynn for sharing her story. you have to have gone through a level of like therapy, acceptance, and resolve with your sexual assault to have now go on national television and share that with the world.
Right.
Because, like, I understand, like, sexual assault has been a part of her platform, like in the pageant world and Miss America. But Miss USA and the pageant world is a lot smaller than primetime network television and getting up there and telling your story. You know what I mean?
Also, very brave to do it when your narrative is not controlled. They could have done anything with that clip.
They could have done any damn thing with that. And so she's putting a lot of faith in the platform itself and just hoping that, you know, they do it correctly and share her story in the way that she tells it. I also commend her because, I mean, who watches The Bachelor? Women. And a lot of young women, some who might have experienced something similar and now can find solace in seeing someone so like beautiful and confident talk about her own story and talk about it in a way talk about it in a perspective of like a survivor rather than a victim from that perspective, you know? Or also women who've gone through something similar and maybe haven't even told anybody about it yet. And now hearing her share her story, now they might have more confidence to come forward. And I just think the whole thing was incredible. I thought it was amazing.
It was.
I'm always in favor of women, you know, particularly women related to their sexual assault, finding bravery to speak out on it. Because as we can tell from Caelynn's story, I mean, justice wasn't found for those guys.
No.
There's a whole crazy mess going on with our hospital system and people being turned away.
Crazy.
And so just sharing, every time we share our story, it kind of helps us notice the gaps in the system. And hopefully through that we can see more change. Caelynn got my invite to the cookout. Yeah. I only fucks with strong-ass women who are self-aware, have done necessary work on themselves. I admire her for not just sharing her story, but just the eloquence at which she shared, like the way she shared it as well. And it just shows like how much work she's done on herself and what she's gone through over the years to kind of get to that moment where she can be on national television and say this to a man that she barely knows, you know, and you know, she can come to my cookout. I'm inspired.
And there's so much shame that could be associated with that from the victim's perspective. And it seemed like she's really worked on that aspect of it. Like she has, for the greater good of sexual assault victims, gotten through it. Like how she said, like every person in her life has gone through this with her. I really like how she put that. She didn't just like put it on her shoulders. She has made it so that she is a voice with a platform, but that it's not only a part of her story, but a part of like her whole family story and everybody who's gone on her journey with her. So love it, Caelynn. Yeah.
And so Colton, you know, he asks her, you know, he did ask her, like, who helped you get through this? And Caelynn reveals that she didn't tell her parents for a long time, and she actually hid it from her mom for over a year. And when her mom found out, like, they immediately went to the dean of the school, they got an attorney, and just did the necessary steps to try and, you know, seek some type of justice. And just kind of talks about how the whole experience, like, shaped her as a person and, like, as you said, like, affected her family and, like, everybody in her life. What's so scary about, like, just all of this, like, hearing her, the fact that she hid this for a year, like, didn't even have the strength and, like, wherewithal to tell her own mother, is just to think how many women suffer alone in silence,
haven't said anything.
And you have to imagine the courage you have to muster within yourself to literally utter the words "I've been raped" out loud to a police officer or to a nurse at the hospital or even to your mother or friends. Like, oftentimes you can't even get the courage to say those 3 words. And so you sit there in silence, suffering. Meanwhile, you're watching as your attacker is in class, going about his life. And that experience within itself is just so devastating. And this happens across college campuses all the damn time.
All the time. And Also, she was a sophomore in high school, she said, which means
Sophomore
that she
in
was
college.
like 19. Sophomore in college,
Yeah.
sorry. So that means that she was like 19, 20. So she was also drinking. So she has to admit to her mother she was underage drinking, that she was partying. She probably felt like it was her fault.
Part of the shame.
Yeah.
All part of the shame.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And then even when women do come forward and share their stories, their attackers oftentimes still go on living.
Most of the time.
Most of the
Most of the
time.
time they get off. Yeah, especially on college campuses.
Yeah, fucking Justice Brett Kavanaugh, you fucking monster.
Ooh, the worst.
The worst and the ultimate. And this country protected him and seated him in the highest seat in the land. And I can't even get into that, so whatever.
No.
But Colton, he kind of, as she's telling her story, he just sat back, listened. You know, his body language wise, he was very supportive and receptive, and said to her, like, with me, you'll be safe. And they kind of hugged it out.
Yeah, this is where Colton got my Colton's making moves moment.
Making moves!
Because to me, there is nothing better to hear from a man than you can feel safe with me.
I agree.
Like nothing in the world. And so for him to say that at probably her most vulnerable moment that she's ever going to have on the show is, I thought, really, it just showed how, like, in tune he was and how he's, like, really just a good listener and paying attention to what she was saying and sensitive to what she was saying.
Yeah. And I think also, like, him saying you're safe with me is just words, but I think what backs it up even is what he eventually goes into next, which makes him saying you feel safe with me actually feel genuine.
Yeah.
So basically, after they hug it out, Colton says, you know, I was actually in a relationship with a girl who was sexually abused, and for me, it was the hardest thing having to watch her go through that. Now, this is very public knowledge that Colton dated Olympic gold medalist gymnast Aly Raisman, who was sexually assaulted by the USA gymnastics team doctor or coach.
Coach. Yeah.
Doctor or coach something, who is now rotting in jail as we speak.
Rotting underneath the jail, girl.
And so Colton, you know, he said he watching her go through pain was super hard, and then said, like, who am I to feel the pain when I wasn't the victim? And Caelynn cuts him off and says, you know, I don't think that's true because, as you said earlier, she expressed how this is something that affected everyone in her life. Like, she went through the painful incident and the event, but, like, her mom, her family, her friends, everybody was, like, affected by this event.
Right.
So then Colton goes on and says, you know, like, the intimacy piece, it was hard between him and his last girlfriend. And, you know, he said that, you know, she was my first love and intimacy didn't happen. And I think that's kind of code for, like, they didn't have sex.
Yeah.
And then after they broke up and he, you know, went on the show and kind of opened up about being a virgin, you know, people in the media are all demanding answers. Like, how could this be true? And essentially people are questioning, how could you have been with Aly? Like, you had a full-on girlfriend, but you're still a virgin.
Like, you all were in matching Christmas onesies.
Right, but you're saying that you're a virgin.
Yeah.
And how, you know, he basically had to just, his reasoning, he just had to say was just, it's complicated. Because people don't really know the context of Aly and, you know, remembering what she went through. And people not kind of equating, like, intimacy issues and women who have suffered sexual abuse or sexual assault. This is where he got my making moves moment.
Oh,
yes.
Nice. Soon after,
yes. Because I really appreciated him sharing this. And it even made me think back on myself, because I think even I was one of those people who was like, huh, what? He dated Aly Raisman, they didn't have sex? That don't make no damn sense.
Right.
Totally not even remembering the context of what Aly went through and how their relationship and their intimacy, like, is different or is going to go through something different.
Could have been affected.
Yeah, could have been affected given her sexual abuse. And so, like, I think we just forgot that, essentially.
Well, and granted, I didn't know the timeline between, like, when she was sexually abused and when she got with Colton.
That, too.
You know?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that either. But yeah, that definitely just like didn't enter my mind. And so as he said it, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you know, people in the media, we ain't shit because he don't need to give us an explanation for nothing. And
no,
his reason actually was very complicated when you really think about it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that he was able to tell the actual story finally, because he's been saying like, "Oh, I just didn't have the time before."
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
This isn't like
That's true. I've been playing football and it just like never happens. Like, what, my dude?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, that's like the story he kind of had to tell because he can't be out here just like telling Allie's story, like
blaming it on her. Yeah,
absolutely not. So I think, he was definitely making moves for me in that moment. I also think that conversation was almost as important or almost as significant as Caelynn's story within itself, because I think it is important for women who've been sexually assaulted or sexually abused, who are also struggling with like intimacy issues, to be able to see that they're not alone in their struggle. Like what Caelynn, you know, because she said she's been dealing with intimacy issues with her past relationships, with Colton expressing that he's been with someone who's had issues with intimacy due to her sexual abuse. I think them showing that and having that conversation was also another important thing for women watching the show to see. So, great moment. It was a very kind of heavy moment, but we got to know a lot more about Miss Caelynn and a lot more about Colton, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that Caelynn was able to express herself in this way to get this out of Colton, because it makes him so much less boring, number one.
Right.
And number two, it makes me like him more because I know he's not a dirtbag.
Right.
Like he was not having sex on the side because his partner was having intimacy issues. Like that is just a really a solid move for a solid guy. So I appreciate that, Colton.
Much appreciated. So time for the cocktail party. You know, we're done with Caelynn's date. Going into the cocktail party, Demi and Courtney still not fucking with each other. So that's still a thing. The first person to get one-on-one time was Hannah G. Big eyes. Hannah G. Damn, I keep mixing Hannah, Heather. I do this every time. I'm like, Hannah, Heather. I'm just call her Big Eyes. She gets her first alone time. Now, she rose up in a blonde, like high ponytail, her blonde hair, this magenta pink mini dress, looking like preteen Barbie. Her face is so young. You're right. She do look like she's another Demi, where they look like not over the age of like 13.
No, she looks like Sweet Valley High. Remember Sweet Valley High?
I feel like she was playing dress up.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So anyways, they head off to his bedroom. They walk in. It's a big old bed as soon as they enter the room. I don't know why they keep setting these people up like this.
What are they doing?
I don't know why they keep doing this. So she's talking about she's nervous about opening up and it's going to be harder, and was literally saying nothing in this moment. And
Nothing.
She was saying it's hard to open up, and then I thought she was going to open up about something, and then she didn't.
Right.
So I don't know.
No.
So then they ended up just laying on the bed and hardcore making out, just like rolling around.
And this is when she got my invite to the cookout. Because, girl, you better make the most of that time. I have not seen any girl make the most of her time besides Hannah G in her little platform shoes and her little dress.
God.
She is really going for it, and I appreciate it, Hannah.
They were rolling around like literal teenagers. Oh my God.
I know. I feel like someone's mom was gonna walk in at any moment.
Bust in the room. What's in here? Keep the door open.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know the door's not supposed to be closed with boys in the house.
Oh God. Who's his mother? Let me call her on the phone. Make sure she knows he's here. Jesus. So back at the group, Caelynn says in her confessional that she's tired of this tension between her and Hannah B. And so she finally decides to grab Hannah for a chat. And everyone is just like, thank you, God, because we are tired of this shit, too. And it was going to be Caelynn that's going to do it, because I feel like Hannah B was never, ever going to do this.
Never.
She was going to still be sitting here drinking wine, talking shit. the confessionals and was never going to do it.
Because to me, Hannah B has been salty about this before the show. I feel like Caelynn wasn't salty before the show.
Yeah, I feel like
This just like brought it back up for her.
yes, I think so. Yeah.
And Hannah B has still been mad.
Yeah, because she had a lot of shade and a lot of stuff brewing inside and was in the house talking shit and da-da-da-da-da and was just like living with like loving the drama and the tension. It was weird. So they go off and have their little one-on-one time. Hannah says, we used to be good friends. Then we had a tiff, and, that's okay. And Caelynn hits her with the, it's hard enough as women. Why not be supportive of each other? Caelynn knew exactly what she was doing. She was pulling that woman needs to support women card.
Yeah, we're a sister.
We're sisters. We need to support each other. Basically inkling that Hannah is not supporting women. Like, because she's the one that's bringing it up first. The women supporting women. Good little move there, Caelynn. Trifling little move. And yeah, Hannah's like, I don't think you're a horrible person. Caelynn says, I don't wish bad on you. And they basically end the conversation. They hung it out and go back inside, and that's it. So I don't actually think we're gonna see a 2-on-1 date between the two of them because it seems as if they've kind of wrapped it up and it's done.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I hope.
I really hope so because I'm honestly over it.
So tired.
Yeah. Back at the group, Courtney, Miss Southern Belle, Georgia Peach, is in the group again talking in that condescending tone and says, I hope people who need to go home. This isn't show and tell. All kind of weird stupidness, which is just dumb because Demi has a rose.
Right, and it seems like you're talking about yourself.
Right. Demi's not going home. The people who need to go home, go home. Demi has a rose. She'll be here next week. You, my girl, need to go figure out your situation because you might be going home. Like, let's not get it twisted here. So as she's talking her foolishness, Demi walks away because ain't nobody got time for this. And as she's chilling in the cut on Yeka, here she come stir up shit. And she asks Demi, like, do you think Colton knows what's going on between you guys? Like, do you think he's going to find out about it? Just laying the groundwork for mess. And so Demi, now she's nervous, so she wants to get ahead of the story and tries and goes and finds Colton. And so Demi gets her little one-on-one time with Colton, and this shit was crazy. So
it really was.
It really
For her to
was.
get any one-on-one time at all was so nuts.
It was wild. And so she sits with Colton and tells him, so Courtney's the cancer of the house. She attacked me, and you shouldn't waste any time with her. Just full throttle threw Courtney under that 18-wheeler bus.
Oh my God. Like, saw the bus coming and just shoved her right in. Like,
Oh my God. And we have to keep in mind, Demi has a rose. She doesn't have to do any of this.
You know what Demi also has? An agenda.
An agenda.
Okay?
Exactly.
A strategy.
Thank you. Which is more than what Courtney had. So.
Oh, yeah.
And so Colton, he's sitting there like, he's like, I hadn't had much time with Courtney, but this definitely, I didn't see any of this coming. Like, what?
Again, this is my greatest fear. There he goes.
Yes, another fear.
Another fear.
Getting blindsided. So as they're talking, like clockwork, who comes and interrupts them but Courtney?
Of course.
So Demi leaves, and now Courtney, who's gotten no time with Colton, she decides to break bachelor rule number 1, which is spend her precious one-on-one time complaining.
Yep, about somebody else.
About somebody else who has a motherfucking rose. Let's not forget
crazy.
That.
Yeah, he's not taking it back.
He's not taking it back. So you're just wasting time. So she goes and complains about Demi and saying all kind of foolishness about Demi this, Demi that. Now, Mr. Colton, Mr. Mediator here, did the same thing that he did with Caelynn and Hannah,
God, same thing.
and was like, "Well, Demi just told me that you attacked her, and Demi just called you the cancer of the house."
Like, who are you, Andy Cohen?
Right, this is not Watch What Happens Live. You don't need to be airing out Debbie's tea immediately after she just spilled it. Shit. Oh my God. And so basically we get a whole other she said. Courtney is saying, you know, Demi's actually the cancer of the house, and she's the one who's not here for you. She's the one that is here.
Did you catch how Courtney broke that fourth wall? And she was like, the only reason she's here for the cameras and for a reality show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. She's here for TV. If you weren't The Bachelor, like, or what'd she say? It could be anybody. The fact that you're The Bachelor, it's a TV show. That's why she's here. And just saying all kind of mess. So Courtney walks back to the girls and immediately says, raise your hand if you think I'm the cancer of the house.
I can't believe she has these cojones for these women and not to go up to this man and just
right,
talk to him.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So she makes her announcement and Demi boldly raises her hand.
Oh, she's like, me?
Me?
Do you have questions?
Right. Meanwhile, all the girls are like, wait, what? Who said that?
Oh my God, yes. It was who said that.
Yes.
It was that moment. Who said that?
Who said that? They're all looking around like, damn, Demi, what? So then those two go back and forth. Demi is reading Courtney to filth.
Oh, like a book.
Courtney barely got a leg to stand on. All the girls in the house, they're all literally sitting there like stifling laughter because this whole thing is just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I wonder what Elise is thinking right now.
That she needs to get up and go, and she's wasting time sitting in this here sorority house, hearing this bickering. This is nuts. She is too old for this.
Yeah.
She's here for a husband. She's not here for this catty nonsense. Time for the rose ceremony. Going into the rose ceremony, Demi, Caelynn, and Tayshia all have roses. Now, shout out to Elise, who looked absolutely incredible.
Bomb.
Oh my God. Makeup.
That's amazing.
Flawless, as it should be, because she is a makeup artist. She had the high ponytail. She had the cute little beaded long sleeve dress.
Yeah, the dress was mad
Great.
cute.
Just a full, complete, pulled together look. Oh my God.
An
L-E-W-K.
W-K.
Yes. All together, pulled together. Loved it. First rose goes to Big Eyes. Hannah G. Next to Heather. Forgot about Heather.
I totally
Never
forgot
Been
about
Kissed.
Heather.
She's still there. Roses, roses, roses. Hannah B. Miss Alabama gets a rose. More roses. Elise gets a rose. Cassie. Who the hell is Cassie?
Cassie.
She gets a rose. Nicole, Miami.
Yes.
Gets a rose. The last rose goes to Anyeka. So going home is Demi's casualties.
Yep. Literally.
Courtney and her arch nemesis from 2 episodes ago, old spinster Tracy. Oh my God. I gotta say goodbye. So Demi is in her confessional. She had me dying. She said, had Courtney listened to me and taken my advice, she might be here. But she made the mistake of fucking with me, and now she's going home. That shit was priceless. And it's so true.
Yep.
If Courtney just listened to Demi's advice when Demi was encouraging her and said, hey, get out of your head. Go and get some time. Like, create time. You got to make moves out here. She might actually still be in the house. But instead, she had to fuck with Demi and try to do all kind of, I don't even know what strategy she was trying to do because it did not work. Wasting time is what she did. And now she's going home. Look what you did. And that was the episode, my friends. That was a solid
Demi was
episode.
smiling like the Grinch at the end of that episode. She was smiling so hard during that rose ceremony. She was an ear to ear.
Ear to ear.
Okay? I saw all 500 of that girl's teeth. All of them.
Yep, because she knew when it came down to the last rose, she knew it was going on Yanka. She knew it was not going to Courtney and or Tracy. And that was the episode. So we did get a preview for next week. They're going to Thailand
This is crazy.
So they're hopping
Why
over.
Why are they bringing so many bitches all around
many
the world?
of them. They already flew them out there, so now they're trapped.
Yeah,
They're going to fly back
stay.
to LA now. Yeah. They're off to Thailand next week. Heather, Miss Never Been Kissed, is getting a one-on-one date. She's hoping to get her first kiss on this date.
I don't want to watch
I don't want to watch that either. They already had it all set up. They're going to watch fireworks and create a moment. Ugh, that is so cringe. So cringe. Next, Cassie is going to get a one-on-one date. Finally get to learn who this girl is. Yeah, I'm excited to see this girl who apparently makes him feel all kind of ways. Hannah B is going to drop I Am Falling in Love with You. We see Colton in bed cuddling and making out with somebody.
Yeah.
We see Elise crying and walking.
Oh, yeah.
And a voiceover of her saying, I think I made a stupid mistake. My prediction is she's sending herself home.
Yeah.
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 She's going home.
I think she might pull like a Jacqueline.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
She tried. She doesn't feel the connection. She doesn't see how it's going to work. And she's going home. I personally would wait until after Thailand to see where they going next before I send myself home.
Yeah.
Because if next they're going to Jamaica and I've been there, all right, I'm going home. But if after Thailand they're going to Vietnam, I'm going to Vietnam.
Right.
Fuck out here.
Anywhere.
Any damn where.
I'm finishing up the tour.
I'm finishing up the whole tour of Southeast Asia before I send myself home.
Oh my God, especially if I was a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And I did freelance work.
Yeah.
What?
Girl, you better get your trips, get your vacations in while you can. We also get Onyeka telling somebody that they're mentally unstable.
That's a joke.
That's wild. So who's that going to be? And we see Colton doing a very angry walk away. So I don't know what that's about.
Yes.
And that was it, guys.
That's
it. As always, rate, review, subscribe. Please hit us up on Twitter. The handle's number 2 BLK Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And for email, we have the number 2 Black Girls, the number 1 Rose @gmail.com. So shoot us an email, give us some love. Facebook and Instagram is the same. The number 2 Black Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And we'll be back next week to watch these girls get messy in Thailand. All right, y'all. See you then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.